Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
Today we want to talk about planning a trip, which we're doing quite a little bit of right now. It's cold, and so that's what we're doing.
If it were left up to me, we would have to just drive and try and figure out something. Sharon is the best at using maps, GPS, using anything she can find to route us the best way possible that gets us to where we want to see, the things we want to see, and to avoid the things we want to avoid.
So we are very blessed. We are gifted so differently. My mind immediately goes logistics. That's just where I am. Marlena's mind goes more toward what is there to do, what is there to do? What do we want to see while we're in the area? What are the reviews of the things that we're talking about, looking at, and seeing, etc. But I think the first step is to decide where you want to go and then when you want to go there. For some people, the when is going to be decided.
Yes. If you've got kids in school, you're probably going to want to go in the summers.
That's as long as I was teaching. That was, if we were going to go any distance at all, summer was going to be it. So sometimes it's going to be which one comes first, the when or the where. But for us, where sometimes is we have some major trips that we have really plotted out, looked at the calendars, looked, once again, logistics, the calendar, the maps, getting that kind of idea going.
And since we are retired, we just as soon not be there in the height of tourist season.
And so that's kind of, then we do a sketch of what this trip may look like. For us, the travel days. How far is this trip?
And when do we get down days? Because if we don't have the down days, we won't last for a long trip.
And our longest one to date has been just over 3 weeks, and 15 nights of that we were dry camping. And we had no reservations anywhere, and
it was fantastic.
It was the best trip ever.
Yes.
But that was because of where we were going. We were doing Natchez Trace and Smoky Mountains, and we were doing it off season, so to speak, and so we felt comfortable doing that. It was in January when we made our reservations for the Mather Campground at Grand Canyon.
Yes.
And we made those months in advance.
Yes.
You have to if you are going to be, if there's somewhere you know you have to be at a specific period of time, if you can make reservations, then do it.
Do it.
If you're flexible and you have some leeway, well, we could kind of go stall out here for a day or two to free up a first come, first served campsite. That might be best.
Sure.
But those travel days, that's something we look at. How far are we going to be going, and when are we going to have downtime? A trip that we've done, the Bloomington, Indiana.
Yes.
Well, from Burleson, Texas, it was going to be a pretty long haul. And so we discussed, how do we want to do this? And we ultimately decided if we made a really long day from Burleson, Texas to just north of Memphis, but then had some down days there. Had one day where we didn't go anywhere or do anything, then had a day where we went and saw Memphis.
Yes.
And had a couple, actually I think we ended up with 3 days there maybe, just to have some downtime before we made another long haul from Memphis to Bloomington, Indiana. And so kind of deciding those things. We've got several trips right now. We're trying to decide, how do we want to break this up? Where do we want these stops to be, and what are our options before we, make those final decisions? But so far as camping resources, it depends on how you want to camp.
Yes.
We love looking at the places that we look. If there's a national park we want to see or want to stay at, and I'm going to come back to Grand Canyon just because we went to the Grand Canyon once when we were little kids, and all I remember is my mother saying, over there where you can't see the ground, that's it. She was afraid of heights.
Yeah.
And then we made literally a flying trip to the Grand Canyon, and
We spent a night
just to tell you,
at the Grand Canyon, but
we flew. It's one of the reasons why we RV. But we knew we wanted to stay in the campground because we've been there. We've seen that the Mather Campground is centrally located.
yes.
And we'll have time that we can just sit and do nothing. We can pack picnic lunches and go
Yes.
out to somewhere along the rim, and so planning how many days you want to be somewhere, what you want to do while you're in that area.
And to have maybe some flexibility on one end of the trip or the other. Ours is coming on the, well, really, we'll have a whole lot of flexibility either end. We've got some, we can be sort of flexible on the coming home end.
Well, and we haven't made exact plan, the going out, we're leaving a little bit of flexibility. We're gonna go to our first stop. If we like it, we'll stay there a couple of nights. If we don't, we'll go
Yes.
on.
Yes.
We'll go on to our next stop. And so we do have some flexibility that way. But resources, we're going to use Campendium. So we're going to look at national parks. We're going to look at state parks. We're going to read reviews any place that we can. But then we're also going to be looking at, okay, on Campendium, if we're in this area, where are the Walmarts, the Cracker
Yes.
Barrels, the places that,
Yes.
if we need to pad our trip, if we need to add a day here or something, where are some places that if we can't find something else, these are going to be good options. How long do we want those drive days to be? And that's kind of a big concern as we look at the longer trips. These are all things that are kind of fresh in our mind as we're looking at these trips. And then Mylena, like I said, she does a lot of great reviews of looking at what is there to do in the area, what are the warnings, etc., that may be in effect for that park. What are things that you definitely want to do, that you don't want to do, and
Basically, I read as much about the park as I can.
that's one other thing I'll say is I look at reviews. I watch
too.
videos, and
Mine are written, hers are video, but just to see what they have to say. If I don't see some positive, and if anybody at all says I didn't quite feel safe, we're not going.
we did make a video about a park that we didn't go to. Not the park we didn't review. We actually stayed at that one. It was safe, but there was one where someone didn't do their part and didn't read the reviews.
Get past the smell. I read reviews. I didn't read them on TripAdvisor, and that's where we found if you can get past the smell.
Or you have to drive through a really sketchy area. But once you're in the park, you're fine. My favorite one, though, about that park was next time I'll stay at Walmart. So that doesn't really sell you on that state park. So read, do some of those
Yes.
those things beforehand. And when we're planning that trip, if I've come across a video where these people just show some great stuff, I share that video. But the planning is part of the fun of the trip.
It gets the anticipation and the excitement, and I can hardly wait.
I can't believe I'm going to confess to you how anal I am. But we learned actually on the New Mexico trip that we didn't print out any reservations that we'd gotten. And because of Texas state parks, you show up, you give them your name, and they pull up everything for you. And we had reservations at 3 New Mexico state parks and didn't have anything printed out. And the first question was, what side are you in?
In every park.
I do print out, it's a plastic red folder, and I'll print out the reservations we have. I will print out, actually, when I've done the Google map and routed the trip and have an idea where these stops are going to be, etc., I print that out so that we'll have that along, because we have, I don't know if your GPS is possessed at times or not, but ours will have us. One time I was driving in downtown Dallas, okay? Thankfully it was at night where it wasn't really crowded, driving it, well, downtown Dallas. But my GPS made me exit, wait at a light just so I could go through there and get back up on the highway. So, you know, having that printout along with you when that GPS starts saying exit, you can kind of go, no, I'm going to stay on
Make
this.
a U-turn when possible. You make the U-turn, go half a mile. Make a U-turn when possible.
But anyway, that's a whole different video.
Yeah.
But we hope this has given you some ideas of what we do to plan a trip, and what we're really looking forward to seeing are your comments and you letting us know
What you do.
and what we've missed, so that we can be more prepared and more equipped when we get ready to make the final decisions about those trips. And we hope to see you on the road.
Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.